Resident Evil is one of those games that will always stick with you, no matter where you go. A childhood favorite for most, one that has guided survival horror to where it is now. There are so many others that try to give that same feel that Resident Evil gives in each of their games, but to me, they all fall short. I played every single one of these games, and after Resident Evil 8, I was on the edge of my seat waiting for what they would do next. And oh boy, did I not expect this. Not only did they bring back my boy Leon, but they brought him back to where it all began, Raccoon City. So I'm extremely excited to talk about this game and give you my thoughts on it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Grace, an agent with the CIA, is thrown into a huge conflict after an investigation turns deadly. Now she must work with the DEA agent Leon Kennedy to uncover the truth and put a stop to a possible world-ending event. Though, this doesn't turn out to be as easy as she hoped. This game surprised me with the story path they decided to go down. I thought they would continue with the Winter storyline, possibly with Ethan's daughter Rose, but to pivot entirely and continue Leon's story was amazing. To even include Grace as a new character where you experience two storylines at once was so cool. Capcom had always taken care of Resident Evil when it comes to the story, except for 6. We don't like to talk about 6. Anyway, this game already captured me when I saw Leon was going to be in it, but the story is what kept me entranced the entire way through. I think Capcom did a fantastic job with the telling of this game, and I'm super excited to see what they decide to do next. In almost every single game, Resident Evil gameplay has been improved upon and modernized in a certain way. This game is no exception. Kind of. They did use some modern additions that we see in Resident Evil 7 and 8, but they also brought back some old ones as well, from the originals. Let me explain. Resident Evil has 2 separate gameplay styles as you go through the game. Each one is tied to the certain character you play. Grace, you see more of a survival aspect coming out with you having limited ammo, limited storage, and having to use ribbons once again to save on that oddly placed typewriter. The enemies are harder to kill and a lot scarier, so it's just a well-rounded horror experience. You've got to peek around corners, sneak your way through zombie-infested areas, all while trying your best to solve puzzles and continue the story. Though you do get the opportunity to upgrade Grace's stats and inventory space by collecting certain items or pouches. This I thought was also pretty cool, though I really didn't feel like taking the time to go find all the ingredients to upgrade anything. Overall, Grace's gameplay is super enjoyable. It made me feel like I was back playing Resident Evil 1, and it was super terrifying not really being able to fight back. Though Grace is just as scared as we are. She just got thrown into this crazy place and now has to deal with it all. I honestly think she is the most normal out of all the other protagonists you see in Resident Evil. It's like if you just grabbed a random person off the street and threw them into the Resident Evil verse. Which is kind of what they did with Grace. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Now, Leon is a completely different story. Here, you're the big action hero come to save the day. You're basically just running and gunning through all the zombies in your way. Your storage is more modernized by using the case that we see Ethan using in Resident Evil 7 and 8. We also save at these high-tech camps, which also acts as a store for us to buy and upgrade weapons, items, and armor. This is kind of what you expect with the new Resident Evil games. They took a step back from the horror aspect and focused more on survival. You're armed to the teeth, and even though this man is pushing 50, he can still beat the crap out of a crazed maniac trying to end the world. Again. Though we lose the puzzle aspect when you're playing him. It's more of a quest system where you have to go and find things to make a bigger thing and then that thing blows up. During this, you are mowing down some enemies which gives you credits that you can spend at the store. It's pretty cool that they give you an incentive to actually fight the zombies and not just run straight to the objectives. Pretty cool. Now, you switch between Grace and Leon throughout the game. It's not a pick and play kind of thing where we've seen before in Resident Evil 1 and 2. So they both affect the world at the same time. I'm saying this because they add some cool features with this. Normally you will go through an area first as Grace, then you'll switch to Leon. So what's cool is whatever enemies or items you don't kill or pick up will be left for Leon to deal with. I think that's awesome because it really connects the two totally different playthrough experiences you get from each character. It also kind of gives you an incentive to at least try and take out some enemies as Grace, so you don't have a whole lot to go through as Leon. What is also really cool is the boss fights between each character. With Grace, it's not really a fight, it's more of avoid as much as possible situation. I mean, you can do something to try and slow it down for you to run, but there isn't a way to beat that enemy. Now with Leon, you will have to fight every boss you come in contact with. They don't give you a choice to run. I think that's really cool and just adds so much contrast between the two characters, showing that one is way too scared and maybe even incapable of beating such an enemy, while the other treats this as another day in the office. Now, with this being a newer game, the graphics are, of course, amazing. I love the design of this game. It has that horror feel, but also, in a way, it was semi-open world in a few areas. What I love is the completely different areas you go to during this game. That's something you don't really see in other Resident Evil games besides 8 and a little of 7 and of course 6, but I don't count 6. You start out in this weird, creepy hospital. Then all of a sudden, you're in the wasteland of Raccoon City. I love the contrast you get from each area and the atmosphere they create. It's scary for sure when you're in those dark and cramped areas, not really knowing what is around the corner. Then you have your open areas in Raccoon City, which give a little bit of security knowing you have all this space to run around in. Now, the enemies are amazingly horrifying as well. There is a huge and new variety that we see. It's cool that Capcom will introduce new enemies as well as bring back some old ones. That's really what makes Resident Evil so much fun. It's not a carbon copy of the others. They showcase new environments and enemies to just add to the fun. Overall, this game was amazing. I know a lot of people were looking forward to what Capcom would have for us after Resident Evil 8, and I'm excited with the direction they took and what could be waiting for us in the future. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and please let me know if you have a different opinion on the game or if I got something wrong. If not, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!